So you've moved into searching for sources and you've started digging around in Summon, databases, catalog, all sorts of places to see what you can find for your project. And probably what you've discovered is sometimes searching can be really daunting, even intimidating on some level, because there's so much information to weed through, and it's hard sometimes to know exactly how to go about doing that. In previous videos, I've given you some tips on how to navigate the different tools. So again, the catalog, databases, Summon, and the tools that they offer, and helping to kind of narrow down your results and your options. But what I want to do is just give you a few more helpful hints or strategies for searching in these various resources so that, again, you can constantly be doing the work of narrowing down the information that you have to work with so that you aren't overwhelmed by that information, and you can get to the specific sources that you need as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So let me give you three kind of tips generally that might help you in that process. The first one is using subject terms. So you can use subject terms in your results and in your search in general to kind of zero in on resources that are particularly related to your topic or the issue that you're or keyword that you're searching. So you can find these search terms or subject terms within the records themselves, in the catalog or in Summon. Usually you can find them by clicking into the record for a particular book or article, and then you'll find these linked terms. I'm going to show you those here in a second. In addition to that, you can also find these subject terms in Summon in the left side, on the filters on the left side. You'll notice at the very bottom, if you've watched the Summon video already, this is a refresher, but you'll notice at the bottom of those filters, you'll see a category for subject terms that you can use to select various keywords or phrases that are linked to the specific words that you've used in your search. So this is really, really handy, again, for kind of zeroing in or focusing in on what exactly are you looking for when you type in those keywords that you use. So I want to show you kind of what this looks like then in Summon. So let's just say that we do a search for family therapy. And as your search results populate, as they come up, you'll see what you would normally have, your results here in the middle, your filters on the left side. Again, just kind of a Summon review here. But let's just say that you're looking for a journal article, so it's a really broad topic, right? 2.1 million results, so way too much information. So let's just say that you're looking for a journal article. You're always going to want to click the scholarly and peer review option there. And then as you're looking at some of these results here, you can click on the preview or just kind of hover over it, either way. But if you click on it, it'll remain open. And so you can click on the preview and notice first off that you'll see a summary of the source. So this is a great way to get to know the source fairly quickly and to know whether or not this is something that fits your topic. But then as you scroll down a little further, you'll see a lot of the publication information here, but then you'll also see, again, a title or a category listed as subjects. And then you'll see various words here, and they're all linked. Various words that have subjects that are related to what you have typed in. And these are all, if you click on one of these will take you to other sources that are categorized in some way under these subject terms. So this is really helpful in kind of making a connection between sources, kind of creating a research path, connecting the research that you're doing. And so you'd say, oh, I really like this article here for evidence-based, the evidence base for family therapy. So I want to find some more, maybe though more specifically on child abuse. And so you could click child abuse, And then this would take you to a whole nother set of articles related to family therapy and child abuse, and more specifically focused on child abuse. So again, this is really helpful in kind of narrowing down your options and kind of figuring out what is it exactly that you're looking for. This same thing, for the sake of time, I won't show you, but the same thing is true in the catalog. As you click into a record, you scroll down to the bottom and you'll notice there are several subject terms listed, and there'll be more or less depending on the book and the topic itself. But you can click on those and then again be kind of taken to or transported to a list of other sources that are related to the one that you originally found based on the subject term that they're listed under. So these are subject terms, things you can use, again, to narrow your search parameters in some way. The next strategy that I would encourage you to use or equip you to use would be to search for book reviews on particular subjects. So what I'm saying and what I'm not saying. What I'm not saying is that you should use book reviews as a source material for your actual research and papers, that you can actually cite them and put them within your work. You can't do this for obvious reasons, being that this is the review of another work, for one, so it's not really even a work in and of itself. It is a type of work, but it's not sort of research-based work that you're going to be doing and you're going to be needing in your sources. And it's another person's perspective on somebody else's work, right? So we always want to go back to the original sources themselves and not take the word of somebody else who is reviewing or writing about some other work, unless you're doing research that's about how others view another work. But even then, you wouldn't use a book review necessarily for that. So, but what I am saying about book reviews is that you can get a real quick idea about a source by perusing a book review. Usually book reviews, academic reviews, tend to be, at most a couple pages, even less sometimes. And so what you can do is you can get a general sense for a source and whether or not that's going to work for your topic, whether or not it hits your topic in some way. So instead of having to thumb through a 300-page book, you might be able to find a book review that can help you get a sense and then quickly determine whether or not this is something you're going to use for your paper or something you're going to read further, or it's something you're going to toss aside and keep moving in your research. The final strategy that I'll give you is really one of the best strategies in finding sources efficiently and kind of linking one source to another. And that is mining through reference lists or bibliographies from reference materials, books, and articles, and other types of sources, but those in particular. So this, again, is a great way to kind of minimize the feeling of being overwhelmed by the amount of sources that you have to find for a paper. If you have to find 10 to 15 things and you take a shotgun approach to that, it feels like you could be searching forever and kind of searching for the needle in the haystack. However, what I tell people often is just focus on finding one really good source that hits an aspect or hits your topic or hits an aspect of your topic in some way and really captures that aspect. And once you've found that source, then look at the bibliography, look at the reference list, look at the citations, see the kinds of sources that they're interacting with and utilizing in their own research. And more often than not, you're going to find 1, 2, 3 or more sources that are also going to hit your topic as well. So again, this is a great way to kind of connect the dots, if you will, and create a research path instead of just trying to kind of flail in the wind, if you will, with your research. So I kind of call this your research pyramid scheme, right? If you find one really good source, that will often lead you to 2 good sources, or two or three, or however many, which then they will lead you to a few sources, which will lead to a few sources. And before long, you have this pyramid, right? And you have 10 or 15 sources, and they're all linked together too. So they're all relevant to one another in some way. So any other time that you hear the word pyramid scheme or you see a pyramid scheme, you should run for your life. But in this case, a pyramid scheme of sorts can be really helpful. And those reference lists and bibliographies are almost like gold, really. And you can mine those in any of those types of resources, and know again that you're getting things that are going to be more often than not relevant to what you're doing. So I hope these three general strategies are helpful for you as you begin to dive into your research, dive into the results of your searches. Helps to kind of narrow those results down, help mitigate the feeling of being washed over by the material or the amount of material, and get you to the sources that you need so that you can get to writing your papers and completing your research projects as effectively and efficiently as possible.